Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be drawing in my sketchbook, and I drew this beautiful Princess Serenity illustration. It started as a quick little sketch and turned into something a lot bigger. And with this drawing I used watercolors, and if you want a full list of the materials that I used, definitely check out the video description. I will put everything there. So yeah, I can't wait to share this with you guys. Let's definitely get started. So that's pretty much all I'm going to say about the artwork for this video, because the point of this video instead is going to be me talking about a topic. You'll be seeing the art process as I talk about a topic. And today's topic is going to be twofold really. How I found my art style and also my early art influences. I really wasn't sure if I should just pick one and stick to it, but I feel like they kind of go hand in hand, so that's why I'm going to try to talk about both. So this is the second video in a series that I started recently where I talk a bit about myself while I'm sketching so you guys can get to know me a bit better. The first one I talked about my art journey from when I was a kid to now. And in this video, of course, I'm going to be talking about how I found my art style. And in my last video, I got a lot of really positive responses, and people even told me about their own art journey, and I appreciate that so much. I think it's amazing. It kind of blew my mind a little bit, because it's like, while you guys are getting to know me a bit better, I can get to know you a bit better. So I really hope that we can keep that up. So definitely leave me comments down below and tell me about how you found your art style, or your process to trying to find an art style, or definitely your early art influences. I'd love to hear about that, and yeah, definitely leave those comments below. So when it comes to how I found my art style, it was actually a pretty long process. I mean, as I said in my last video, my art journey, if you haven't seen that video, definitely check out the art card. I will be linking that there. I started to really want to draw after I found Sailor Moon, and Sailor Moon started to play on TV in America in 1995. I don't think it was probably until like mid 95 to 96, maybe it was 1996, that I started to really draw. And it wasn't until like 1998, 1999 that I started to do like original characters and draw like all the time and get really into it and start to think that I could do something with this. But I still think that my artwork looked really similar to the stuff that I liked back then, like Sailor Moon and anime. It wasn't until the years like 2002 to 2004, I'm guessing, that my original style started to come out. So it does take a really long time. So if you're looking at trying to develop an original style, just know it takes a while. It takes quite a few years. It takes a lot of practice. I mean, I spent like 4 or 5 good years of just drawing every day in that time. So it takes time. You just got to give it time. For me, I never was able to actually, honestly, I never even wanted original style. I never even thought of that. I didn't even think that that was a thing. I'm sure I should have known, because like each anime house and each manga artist has a different style, but I never really like set out to have my own or really thought about it. It was all kind of subconscious. And that's the main point I want to make in this video, which is that your style comes down to your aesthetic. That's it. It's very simple. It's just an accumulation of all the things that you like, and your past experiences, the way you see the world, are all accumulated into your style. So as long as you strive to be original with your work, and try not to copy others, try not to follow in trends too much. I know that sometimes people in general, they can fall into traps where they fall into trends and they may not even really like that thing too much, but it's popular, so they start to kind of follow it. Try to avoid doing that. Try to stick to the things that you truly like, that really make you happy, that are really like, just stick to trying to be an original you, and it will come out in your artwork. Of course, you can still be original, but still be slightly similar to others, because you might like the same things, but sometimes you might like things for different reasons or a different accumulation of things. So if you just try to be true to yourself and strive to be an original person, don't copy artwork, don't trace artwork, and try to reference from life instead of artwork if you really want to be ahead of the game. I'm not the type of person who did that, especially when I was younger. I was very stubborn, and I just wanted to draw the animes that I like, and I never was the type of person who would trace or like eyeball copy. That's a term I use. It's like when you look at something and you just copy it like exactly as it is. I never ever did that. I like hated the idea of that. But of course, when you see stuff all the time, you're going to end up kind of regurgitating it into your own artwork, whether you mean to or not. If like that sounds gross when I say regurgitating, but I'm not sure what other word to use. But yeah, for me, like I even nowadays I'll do that. If I just see enough of it, I'll just end up drawing it without even thinking. But as long as you try to do your own original thing and be true to the things that you really like, your own point of view in the world, then it will slowly come out as an original style. And as you become more aware of it, you can always try to push it to be even more original as you go. But if you want it to be something natural that you can draw easily, I don't think that trying very hard to make it more original is a good way to do it, because it's just going to be a strain all the time, in my opinion. I hope that was clear, because I've recorded this so many times and honestly I have a hard time talking about this subject clearly. I'm not a very good person at like explaining myself, to be honest, but hopefully that makes sense. And if you have any questions, just leave them in the comments below and I'll try to clarify anything that I'm terrible at explaining. So yeah, it takes time. It's all about your aesthetics and your outlook in life, and just try to be original if you want an original style. Another, like, I think I already said it, but I'm not sure because I've said this multiple times and I've recorded multiple times, but if you want to be like, if you want to have a heads up above everybody else and a good start to your artwork, draw from life. I mean, I'm sure you've heard it 100 times, but honestly, if you're referencing from other artwork, you're going to end up picking up the mistakes from the other artwork, and you're not them, so you don't know their mistakes, and you'll go forward not knowing that you're making a bunch of mistakes. And later it's going to hurt you. And it's slightly hypocritical for me to say this, because when I was a kid, I was very, very stubborn. I did not want to draw from life at all. I didn't want to draw realistically at all. But now that I'm older, I can see the value in that. And if you really want a leg up from everybody else, you want to get to a better artwork faster, you really have to reference from real life and not from other people's artwork. Even, don't reference from comic books, don't reference from Disney, don't reference from anime. Unless you are drawing fan art, then of course you need to reference what they look like. But just try to be original in the things that you do. Even when you draw fan art, you should try to do an original pose or original scene, but then like make sure you got the components of the character correctly, like the way their hair looks, that kind of thing. And if you do that enough, you are definitely going to get to an original style, because you're always putting something original in your artwork, and it will just build up and become more natural. And I think that's the best way to get an original style. And I really hope that I explained that clearly, because man, I have recorded this so many times. Sorry, I keep saying that. So I think that's all I can say about original style. If I go back to my story, like I said, I started with Sailor Moon, but of course when I was younger, I also had other influences as a kid. I was a big fan of movies like Beetlejuice and the Addams Family and Elvira. So I think that's another place that I got like this interest in like Gothic subculture and how beautiful the ladies who wear Gothic clothes look. The Gothic style, like the long black hair, the pale face. That's just my aesthetic. I also was a big fan of the Worst Witch books. I found them at, I believe, the age of 10 at the library. And the artwork in that is just so cute. It's so beautiful. I love the scratchiness and like kind of the Gothic look. I was always a big fan of witches in general, especially when I was super young. I remember having books with witches in them, and I just always thought they were really cool. And strong women in general was a big thing when I was a kid. I remember we had multiple TV shows on that were all about strong women, like Xena Warrior Princess, that kind of thing. And in general, I have always lived in a household of just women. I do have like brothers and stuff, but they never really lived with us for too long. So I think in general, I just identify better with women, and I just really love a story about a strong woman who can kick butt. Like that's always been my aesthetic as well. Things like historical outfits with like corsets. I love corsets. Oh my god, corsets and bustles and big dresses. Like I always absolutely loved that, even when I was a kid. And like mermaids and vampires and like especially like urban fantasy. Like yes, I love that. That's definitely my aesthetic. And then of course Sailor Moon. So with Sailor Moon, I got really into it. I just always wanted to draw Sailor Scouts all the time. I even had an original Sailor Scout or two when I got a little bit older. And then I got into other animes. There was a time when it was still the late 90s and it was really hard to find anime in America, but I found like Ranma 1/2 and Megumi-sama, which is Oh My Goddess. I love the artwork from that one. It was always so pretty. Clamp was a big influence on my artwork when I was younger, and I think it was a big influence on a lot of people's artwork. The first anime that I found after Sailor Moon was actually an advertisement in a magazine for Magic Knight Rayearth, and I just loved the look of that one. And I also saw the comic X99 for the first time, which was traumatizing and horribly bloody, but the artwork in that one is so beautiful also. And one of the mangas that was a big influence on me was called Peach Girl. It was something about the way the mangaka drew lips, especially the upper lip, that I was very fond of. And it'll be small things like that that'll contribute to my style over time because it's something I like, and then I end up seeing it in my artwork whether I mean to or not. Also, like, there was a TV show in the early 2000s, I think it was, called Dark Angel, and me and my sister would watch it. It was the first time I saw this actress who played the main role. I don't remember her name, but I know she's gotten other roles since, so she's kind of semi-famous. And she had these big, beautiful lips, and I just thought she was a beautiful person, and I was just so amazed by her look that I found myself drawing these big, beautiful lips on my artwork ever since. And if I look back before that, I would see that the way I used to draw lips was very thin, and I think that has to do with me in person. I have actually really small lips, and it's not that that's my aesthetic. I never liked that, but it somehow came out in my artwork. Now that I had seen this lady with these really beautiful full lips, I started to draw these beautiful full lips on my characters, and I still do that to this day. So small things like that you will pick up here and there and everywhere. Another thing that impacted me was the artwork of a mangaka called Tanemori Arena. She did comics like Kami Kaizei Kaito-jan and Full Moon, and I'm sure there's multiples I can't remember, but she's still doing comics now that I haven't even read. But I absolutely love her work. Like, her art books are some of my most prized possessions next to my Sailor Moon art books. And I just remember the first time I saw her artwork in a comic, it was just, I love it. It's so beautiful. I love the way she does the lines, and I especially love the way she draws like folds in clothing. So after I started to look at her artwork, I felt like drawing more folds in clothing more. Same with Sailor Moon. They used to draw like a lot of very frilly ribbons in the comic of Sailor Moon, and like that just made me want to draw frilly ribbons like all the time. And with the Sailor Moon manga, my favorite thing about it is that there's just an elegance in the way that the mangaka Naoko Takeuchi draws that's just it's so beautiful. The lines are so just, there's a flow to it that I absolutely love. After I started to get a bit older and I kind of got out of manga and anime, I started to get into J-Rock, and that was a huge influence on my artwork too, especially like J-Rock, Visual K, bands like Glay and L'Arc-en-Ciel and Pito and Malice Miser and Shazna and La Puta. There's just so many, I can't even remember them, but they all had a huge impact on my artwork because I just wanted to draw these beautiful J-Rockers all the time. But yeah, so that was a huge impact on my artwork, and even like I'm still into J-Rock. I still love it. My husband loves it. That's how we actually met, so it was a huge impact on my life. So it's all of these things. As you grow, as you age, you will get in and out of things, and you'll end up picking small things that you absolutely love that will end up impacting your artwork. And with your style, it's okay if it changes and grows as you go. I don't know of many people who have a stagnant style, and if they do, I really would love to ask them how they do it, because for me, well, maybe it's because I want to improve. Like, I've always been the type who just keeps wanting to improve. Not that I'm great at improving, and I'm not even saying that I have a super original style. I wish it could be even more original, but you know, like it will grow and change as you go and improve as you go. So don't be afraid if your style changes a little bit. And I have heard of people who have multiple styles, so don't be afraid of that either. When it comes to style, just like give it time, try to be original, try to do your own thing, and it will definitely come with time. So yeah, I'm not sure what else I can say on this subject. I hope I said everything, and I hope that this like recording went well. It was clear, because oh gosh, guys, I recorded it so many times because I would ramble on, and then I realized that I hadn't gotten to a point. So yeah. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you found this useful, and don't forget to leave me a comment down below and let me know about your journey to finding your own original style, and also what things influence your artwork. I'm really, really curious about that. And I will leave any comments below if I have to clarify anything that I said, or answer any comments. I will definitely leave that in the comment section below. Should definitely check that out. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you like this artwork, and if you did, also let me know. And if you haven't already, please do subscribe to my channel. I post art related videos every week. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.